Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, there is something that is changing a lot of lives for the better, making people feel better, getting them stuck from their past and allowing them to move forward. And it's changing their lives without a doubt. And it is the instant change method. This is something that we talked about a little bit here. We're going to delve deeper into that. It's actually, I find it fascinating, and it incorporates partly hypnotherapy and other principles. And Michael Danielson is very proficient at it, and he's back with us today. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How you doing, Steve?
Doing great. Doing fantastic here. And I've learned a lot from you, and I've experienced some of the principles within the instant change method, but not the entire instant change method. So that's on the bucket list for me. But why don't you go into just a brief explanation of what the ICM is?
Okay, sure. ICM, instant change method. It's a revolutionary method, and it combines quantum physics, neuroscience, hypnosis, and meditation. Kind of the same thing, those kind of incorporate those two. But it fundamentally does change where a lot of things like talk therapy and everything go back to the past. You're just talking about the issue. With the instant change method, you're working with the information, the exact information that you want, the energy and the emotion behind that. Because everything that we do is to fulfill an emotional need. So when you actually incorporate all of that, the change can be so rapid because you're doing your whole system. When I'm saying your whole system, I really mean your being. You're not just a body. You have your energy body, you have your physical body, down to the individual cells of your body. Now, each one of those has intelligence, and you want to work with all of those. So you have to take the exact information that you want, and you put that information in with the energy, and and what the issue is when you have something called a blockage, you have frozen energy in your system. So what the instant change does is the information and the energy and goes through there and gets rid of that frozen energy, and just knocks it out, so you don't have to dig up the past. You can just actually work past that because you can get rid of that blockage. And when people say blockages, that's what they're referring to, is energy blockages. Because we have a universal energy that flows into our being, and when that's flowing correctly, we're basically in our natural ready state that we want to be in. And then things just happen, they flow, and you can have the results that you want. There's nothing impeding you. So it's like a power versus force thing. Like, you don't have to force things, you just have your natural power. And that's what makes the instant change method so powerful, and it's what's so quick. Like, you can do things within 3 sessions that other methods take years.
And I'm not knocking therapy. It's very valuable in many different ways, but just what you said, every time, and I paused therapy because I just wasn't getting enough out of the therapist that I had selected. And it's got to be right for you. So I'm looking for another one at some point. But it's always a reset, just like you said. Every time you go into a session, all right, so what's been going on? How's it going? What's new with you? Now you just killed 15 minutes. You only got 45. So it's only so much you can do in that time. And a lot of times it doesn't focus on the real goal that you have. You're just regurgitating things, whereby at the instant change method, you're going right in, you're reprogramming your mind. And I think that a lot of people, Michael, maybe when they hear us talk about reprogramming your mind, could be scary, but It's not. We're not, you're in full control of everything. As it's happening to you, you could say, nope, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. All you're doing is listening. That's essentially it, right?
Yes, and that gets, as a trained hypnotherapist, I think it's so funny that people say they're scared of hypnosis. They're naturally in a state of hypnosis. You're running a program. It's just not the program that you want. Society and whatever, you're running that program, whether you think it or not, because the mind wants to know how it is. So how it is what's familiar. So that's why you have to work beyond. Also, you incorporate the mind, but you also go beyond that, because the mind is part of the ego. The ego is basically anything with your physical body, anything, your mind, all that's the ego. And it just wants to know how it is here. It doesn't care if you're happy. It doesn't care if you have what you want, as long as you survive. That's the only thing it cares about.
Okay. And you know what? I want to jump in there because we should point that out as well. And you can correct me if I need to be. And your body wants to make sure you're surviving. So what is it doing? It's going back to the things that you were taught or remember that could be negative.
Yes.
So these things, like, for example, let's say something happened to you when you were 4 years old and it impacted you and it gives you anxiety. That's where it happened. All happened back then. You may not realize it. And your subconscious is bringing that back to protect you. So this thing doesn't happen to you again, like it happened to you back then. But you don't want that. You want to get rid of that and move
Sure.
it forward, right?
Yes, and it's funny that they said if people actually are more comfortable being miserable because they know it.
Yes.
Like, and
It's
to me that,
true.
and it's funny that people say that hypnosis that's a little out there wacky or this change method. Well, no, I think the other one's insane. Staying with a program that you don't want. You actually want to have the changes you want, so you actually want to program exactly what you want. So that's what I think it's funny when people say that they're afraid of that stuff. So, but I understand because it's something new, and that's one thing that we're afraid of is something new. So I understand where it's coming from. But the first thing you do is I need to dehypnotize you and then put in the information that you want. That's why with the instant change method, there's about 3 to 5 questions that I want to have the information exactly how you want it. Now, you don't have to have that fine-tuned down to 100%. You can just have a general outlay what you want, and then we can work on that. Because once your entire being knows what you want, then you can move forward towards it. So anything else, you're just kind of like misfire, and you're like, okay, this, dabble with this, dabble with this. No, you want to transform your entire being, but you also want to transform it to how you want it. You don't want to just transform. You want what you want. Like people say, yeah, I want to transform, but into what? you want to transform into what you really want. And they say the worst thing is to be a success, but then you get there, it's like, what the hell is this? I got to the top of the mountain, but this isn't what I really wanted. So you really want that emotional component behind that. That's what's so important. That's why the instant change works with all of that. And also,
so it's 3 sessions. It's 3 sessions, about 20 minutes a pop, can totally transform your life. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but we only have a limited amount of time. And I know that you want to give us some of the examples in a very concise way of some of the things that happened during the instant change method therapy.
Sure. And one of the things that I've been incorporating before, which you talked about last time, was the quantum questions. And I actually want to take you guys to actually have something you could take and you can actually implement this into your life. I don't want this just to be a theory for you. I want this to be something that you can actually incorporate and see the actual changes in there. It'll seem very simple, but it's something that we overlook. We always overlook the obvious. We think that we're focusing on something, but we're not. So when you actually get down and you can observe the obvious, then you can get what you want. Because you're sitting there running around believing things, but that's probably not really true. You just believe it because you've always believed that. So actually what I'd like to do is do a little exercise with everybody. And obviously I would recommend not to do this if you're driving or riding a bike or something like that. But if you're somewhere where you can do this, then please. If not, you can just actually listen to it, and then later on you can actually go through it. So we're actually running on the programs of the past. And then we're also worried and anxious of the future. Everything that's, when they say emotion, they're pretty much boiled down to, when the negative ones are fear, anger, and sadness. However much you boil it down to, it's those 3 things. You can say it's this or whatever, you're just adding more to it. But it breaks down to that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like to do, I'd actually like to just get right into it. So if anybody would like to join along, I would ask you to close your eyes and think of a situation or situations, patterns in the past that have bothered you. And I'd like you to see them on the left side of your body. In your mind's eye, imagine, visualize, or feel the emotion behind that. Actually bring all of your awareness to those situations, if it's a situation or situations. Imagine them like a line to your left. And actually feel into that. Feel into your body if you can feel that. And I would ask you to do, or you have that in your mind's eye, to take what I call an iron breath, which that means is you breathe in the same frequency as you breathe out. So you'd breathe in like you want to breathe in from your stomach like this. And don't pause. Now on the next inhale, then we're going to blast that out. So we're going to breathe in, not yet. I'm going to ask you to breathe in, and then you breathe in, you're going to a cannonball breath. It goes like this. And then when you do that, I want you to imagine all that stuff from the past just blowing away from you. All right, so we're going to go ahead, breathe in. Now, let's go back to the iron breath. Like I said, breathing in the same frequency, but don't hold it. Just breathing in then from your diaphragm. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now, I want you to imagine on the right side of you any situations or situation that you have fear around, that you're worried about, that keeps going back into your mind over and over again. Imagine that scenario. Imagine like a line going from the right side of your body and try to feel into that. Actually feel into the energy. If you can feel that inside of your body, that's great. If not, don't worry. The process still works. Now, on the next inhale, we're going to go through the same process. We're going to inhale deeply, and then we're going to cannonball that. And I want you to imagine in your mind's eye all of the situations or situation blowing away from you. It's going away from you into the background. All right, here we go. Whew. Now, I want you to actually feel inside of your body how you feel different just from that exercise. Actually feel grounded within there.
I'll tell you, I feel lighter.
Absolutely. Now, when everybody's ready, when you feel that you've done enough, just go ahead and open your eyes. And that's just a simple technique that you can do. It seems very simple, but it's powerful because you're actually taking that energy and you're feeling into that and then blowing it away from you. You're replacing the emotion that you don't want with that grounded feeling of neutrality. Then from neutrality, you can focus on what you want.
So questions, Michael. And by the way, we're talking with Michael Danielson with the Instant Change Method, and this is just a small piece of it. On the left side, just to recap, that was a situation that
In the past.
A situation in the past that hurt you, bothered you, angered you?
Yes.
Okay. And then when we did the right side, that was the situation or something that you felt emotion from.
Yeah, there's something you're worried about or something you ruminate about, something you're anxious about.
They don't have to be connected, those two situations. Okay. And why on the right side worried about and on the left side, angered about? What is there a reason, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter per se, but this is the way our brain functions and the way that it really breaks it down. That's why you think about the past on the left and the right, because it's the way that your brain is synchronized. Okay. So that's really subconsciously thing. But
well, you just said it. I mean that. Okay, so you're the left side is something from your past. So yes. We nailed that right there. Interesting, because I totally felt it kind of going away, and I did have a feeling of just lighter, like, oh, all right, that was kind of cool. How often would you suggest people do that? Could you do it on a weekly basis, or whenever you're getting, call it triggered, worried about something?
Yes, it's anyway. I would say recommend it maybe about once a week. But if you feel more. I mean, that's fine. It's not that
Sure.
you can't do it more than that, but it's not something that you want to turn into like something I have to do. You want to. The thing that with self help is we inherit things as a routine. We're like, okay, now I learned this. Now I got to put it as part of my routine. So
Right.
really, it's just as needed basis. And I do apologize. I really go too much in detail. I just kind of ran into it, but yeah, you caught the gist of it from there.
No,
So.
perfectly clear. And I ask questions because I love to learn, and I'm sure others like to, why we pick the left side for that, why we pick the right side for that. And it was interesting that I did feel a divide that this thing's over here and this thing's over here.
Yeah.
Down like a line right there. And even the breathing technique and just purging it out, beneficial, definitely.
Yes. And what I'd also like to do, like this is instant change, I do incorporate that within my sessions as well. So
Mhm.
if you would like to get a better experience of this or a deeper experience of this, I won't say better, but deeper experience, of course, go to my website, schedule time with me at the bottom, and we can actually do a free session with you. But we're going to move back into this. Now, I covered quantum questions. Basically, what a quantum question is we carry around beliefs that we believe to be true, but
Mhm.
is that really the case? We've just we experienced something most of the time for formative years between 0 to 7, and we formed a truth, what we believe is the truth, and then we form a belief. So we said is true, then we formed a belief, and then we've tried to conform to that belief. But is that really what we want? I mean, you basically you're growing up and you're in oneness between 0 to 2, and then you see these adults around. You're like, what the heck? These giants, they get it all together, so they must have the answer. So the way they do things, you say, okay, so that's how it is. I'm going to do the same things. I'm on the same beliefs.
Yep.
But I don't think that's how everybody wants to live. You're an adult now. You don't want to live like that. And we're still living through those programs. And we're wondering why the same patterns happen over and over again because you're running on that program. So what I'd like to do is take us all through a quick exercise of this, of the quantum questions. I'll make it quick.
Sure.
So same experience, a little bit. We're going to add some components to this. Now, I want you to think of any situation or anything that you believe. You say, I am this. Always be careful what you say, I am to, because anything you say after that, you form. And the worst thing you want to do is be wrong, so you're going to conform to that. So you could say that I'm just terrible public speaking. I am broke. I'm never going to make money. So think of that. Whatever that might mean to you. Of course, I won't know that, obviously. And I want you to open your mind to the possibility that that may not be true. Just think about that. Just intuitively say, is that really true? And I also would want you to open up to the possibility of miracles. That this can change. I don't think it's such a radical idea. This could be a miracle. This could change. This could not be true. So I'd like you to, whatever that is, whatever your situation deal with, I am bipolar, I am this, whatever that is, I want you to actually feel that inside your body and see how that feels to say that I am that. And I'm sure that doesn't feel good. There's somewhere in your body that says that does not feel good. That there's a hint there. Now, what I'd like everybody to do, like I said, if you're not driving or anything, go ahead and close your eyes. And then we're going to go back to the iron breaths, like I call it, like you breathe in through your diaphragm. And same breathing out, but no pause, just in through the nose, out through the mouth. Actually, I want you to feel into that. When you say that I am that, feel that area of your body. Bring your awareness into that. Okay, go ahead and shake that off. Now I want you to say into your mind, you don't say it out loud or in your mind, up until now, this has been the case. I was this. But I don't really know if that was true. I'm betting that has a lighter feeling. Now I want you to think in your mind, why is it true that this was the way that is, but I don't necessarily know if this is the way it will be in the future? Why may it be true that that's a pattern I lived in my life, and that's the way I thought things were? And even if it was true, that does not mean it has to be true in the future. Why may it be true with all those crazy things that happened in my life? I formed this belief, but I no longer need that, and who knows if it ever was true. May it be true that I am an unlimited creative being with access to my source and to Mother Gaia? Why is it true that I am powerful? Why is it true that I am one with all that is? Make sure to continue to breathe that iron breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Why is it true that I am and I'm unlimited being with access to universal energy, and that I am sovereign, and that I am in my power? Why is it true that from this day forward, from this moment forward, all those things from the past were just that? They were experiences. I gave them meaning. I can drop those and discard those now. Now, I want you to imagine in front of you a doorway. This doorway is of that emotion that you felt before. Now, beyond this doorway of this old emotion and energy and frozen stuckness is yuck. Beyond that is my power. I want you to really feel that, like you're at this doorway. Imagine, visualize, or feel. Now, when you are ready to step into your power, I want you to step through that doorway and go through the tunnel that old emotion, shoot through there. Now, on the other side of this, where you're at now, this is who you are. This is who you are in your new being, your unlimited creative power. Why is it true that this is who you are? Why is it true that this is what you always have been and who you always have been? I want you to actually feel that energy, feel this. From this moment forward, this is who you are. And when you're ready, I want you to go ahead in your own time, go ahead and open your eyes and come back to this present moment as a new, powerful being that you are. It is who you always will be.
Pretty heavy.
Yes.
We have about a minute left. My favorite part of all of this is that statement, why is it true that? Because if we were just to say, it's true that blah, blah, that's just a statement. When you say, why is it true that, it makes your brain validate it automatically and believe it.
Yes, we always want to know how it is, and that's how you're saying this is how it is.
Right. And you're forcing yourself to accept it, because anybody can be spoon-fed some whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, Michael, you're wearing a blue shirt. Well, maybe you are and maybe you aren't.
Right.
Why is it true, Michael, that you have a blue shirt on? Your brain's going to think, why? Well, because it is a blue shirt and so forth. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah. It's and that's what we just did was the quantum question.
Yes, quantum questions. Yeah.
Again, people, this is just a small piece of what takes place to reprogram your mind. And that's essentially what we just started doing in a very, short way of illustrating what the instant change method is all about. Your website is icmrightnow.com.
Yes.
Okay. And when somebody goes there, did you say a free session? How does that work?
Yes, I do. I do an introductory session. And when you go to a web page, on every single page of the website, there's a little button at the bottom that says schedule time with me. And that goes to my Calendly link. And on there, you can book a session. And with the instant change too, if you want to go forward with this, which I think you'd be very happy with the results, that we do those, like I said, the 3 sessions. And from there, but the first one, I want you actually experiencing. I always want people to experience it. I don't want to just talk about it. You would actually go through a session with me. So yes.
Yeah, we've talked about it in the past, but now I've got an even clearer feel for it. And just to close here, this is not something you just made up. This is years of research, and this is something that you learned from a gentleman in Germany that came up with all of the principles and put them all together.
Sure, Daniel Weinstock. And like I said before in the previous sessions, it's incorporating all that information and all those modalities, and it has a 98% success rate. So there's nothing on the market that can touch this.
No. And it's interesting that there are pieces of this that you can of the modalities. Let's say you'll do hypnotherapy. Will it be beneficial? Yeah, probably will be. But that's only one piece. Now there's another piece. Now there's another piece. You or this gentleman from Germany put them all together and then encapsulated it so it's rapid, it gets the job done, and you reprogram your mind to a better person and get rid of the old garbage, because we've all got that old garbage in there that's got to come out. It's just the way it is. Yeah,
everybody, including me, everybody does. So yes, and then also I add my own little tweaks to that as well, like the quantum questions, hypnotherapy, and stuff like that. So yes.
Yeah, fascinating. Michael Danielson. Instant change method. Great having you on again. Thank you for showing us that. Now, for me, and I'm sure others, a much clearer picture of how this all works. And what do you got to lose? ICMrightnow.com. Go learn more, get a free session, and just learn a little bit more about not just this, but also about yourself.
Yes. Yes.
What we did before with the the left and right exercise. I was thinking, and I knew when you said pick those things, the emotion or the thing that troubles you worry about, right away, I got it. I knew exactly what I wanted to put over to the left and the right and then purge it out. Yes. Looking forward to talking again next time.
Sounds good.
All right, Michael. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.